Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And Hogwarts Legacy is officially the #1 single-player game ever on Twitch with 1.28 million peak concurrent viewers at launch, according to Hogwarts Legacy Gold Check account. Everybody's raving about this game, or at least saying it's pretty good. Even the Metacritic scores are pretty good, even from outlets that really weren't on board with the game initially because of J.K. Rowling and her views, except for Wired. Wired gave it a 1 out of 10. A 1 out of 10. And the reason...
So you just told everybody, Wired, that your journalistic integrity is not there because you did not fairly review it. You used it instead for political activist whatever points instead of actually doing your job as a journalist, which is, to be honest.
How long is this journo actually going to be working for Wired? Because 1 out of 10, they said the game is mid at best. Even if it's mid, it should have gotten a 5 out of 10, right? 1 out of 10 is like Superman 64 levels of bad.
Well, this you read this stuff too. It's clearly they've been on Twitter. They're on these groups. It's the same talking points. They obviously. I don't want a journalist who can't think for themselves, that only can just repeat back stuff they hear without actually looking into it.
Using Twitter, which is owned by a toxic cis billionaire with problematic views. We're gonna talk about this because I'll be honest, I expected a lot more reviews like this. I expected a lot of reviews like this, and the reason this review exists is, of course, to drag down the score on Metacritic.
Review bombing only happens when the other side does it, whoever that is, because you can still be politically on the same side as them, but you're the other side if you don't agree with them. The other
side. So we're going to take a look at this. Now, there are some outlets like Kotaku and Polygon and The Gamer that I guess have refused to review it.
They weren't. I don't think they were given reviews.
They were.
They probably weren't even given copies, and then they're like,
because of this, they were probably afraid of this,
and they were probably given the copies. We're not going to review it. I'm like, you probably weren't even given copies.
So Wired cannot be trusted, confirmed, because there's no way in hell that this game, even if it's mid, would have gotten a 1 out of 10. So we're going to talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Over 292, almost 293,000 subs. Thank you for the support. We have been covering the ridiculous situation that is Hogwarts Legacy, that is shaping up to be a GG 2.0 situation. And look, I'll be honest, I thought there were going to be a lot more reviews like this. IGN even gave it a 9 out of 10.
I mean, even if it was like a 5 out of 10, I mean, I'd respect that. But this is just ridiculous. Like you said, this is just a review bomb. And, I'll give credit to the outlets because I honestly, like you said, expected them to all do what Wired did. But they actually, even though they put like a thing saying here, we don't necessarily agree with Rowling, but we have to review the game because it's our job. And they did their job and they did it fairly. I respect that.
Yeah, I mean, and it seemed like every journo that reviewed it that worked for the established approved gaming media list, had that disclaimer.
But they're afraid their friends are all going to turn on them and stuff. They're afraid of the mob, which we said was going to happen.
Yeah, they said that. There was actually one reviewer that was like, I was kind of afraid to play it because I knew what was going to happen if I did. They were calling out IGN for daring to review it. I'm like, IGN's one of the biggest game sites on the internet.
But you know what? To do it, even though it could lead to you getting canceled or other things because it's your job to do it, I'll respect that because that takes courage at least. Yeah. I mean, this is just bullshit.
So let's go through this ridiculous non-review. This is just an activist giving high fives to their friends on Twitter and etc. Coming from Wired, which used to be reputable, and it clearly is not now.
Hasn't been for a while, has it?
No. Jaina Gray review. There is no magic in Hogwarts Legacy. The game is mid at best. Okay, 5 out of 10, right? And its real-world harms are impossible to ignore. I expected a 5 or a 6.
How is the game... Okay, wait. How specifically is this game real-world harming people? Because J.K. Rowling, who had nothing to do with this game, said some things.
Yes.
That you don't like.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, I don't agree with everything J.K. Rowling said, but I don't want to be called a menstruating person. I want to be called a woman. So I don't disagree with her on that. I mean, even people that are trans don't want to be called a trans woman. They want to be called a woman. So I would, I don't see how it's any different.
A 1 out of 10. Yeah, I know.
The game itself isn't doing anything.
Right. Yeah, and there is a trans character in the game, and you can play as trans characters in the game. And they made statements that the development team really didn't have a lot of contact with her during the process any more than the Lego people have any contact with her. They're just basing the sets on the movies. Wired, it said it helped the pros and cons, right? It helped me say goodbye to the setting for good.
Good. I'm glad you're gone.
Yeah, right?
Don't let the door hit you in the ass.
A con, the story is rooted in anti-Semitic tropes. The gameplay feels dated. The graphics feel like they're a couple generations behind. The characters are one-dimensional. Doesn't stay true to the established lore. Every character feels like an off-brand version of the characters we know and love. There's no sense of place, no magic, no heart.
Okay, a couple things here. One, there's a bunch of Jewish people saying that they didn't think that they were anti-Semitic tropes. So I guess that's your
Were we talking about the goblins?
I think that's what we're talking
I'm sorry.
about.
Okay, so here's the thing that gets me too. About the whole goblin situation in Harry Potter. The goblins have been represented on screen for over 20 years. Nobody complained about the goblins until they decided they didn't like J.K. Rowling. I'm just saying. They've been there forever, and nobody was complaining about it until they decided.
So weren't they
J.K.
complicit?
Right?
And then they said the gameplay feels dated. Now, a couple places said that it did feel dated. There were places mentioned that as well. The graphics are a couple generations behind. Yes, because this game has been developed for how long? Every time there's an upgrade, they probably aren't going to start all over again. You know what I mean? Characters are one-dimensional. Well, this writer's an expert on that. It doesn't stay true to the established lore. But because it's a prequel, it happens 100 years before. And my next thing is, you know what else doesn't stay true to the established lore? Star Wars.
I know, right?
She-Ra, etc. And it's okay.
Captain Marvel.
The Witcher. Yeah, Captain Marvel. The Witcher. The new Lord of the Rings show. I mean, we can go on and on and on. I bet you money that if we look into it, this writer here thought those were fantastic.
This is one of the most idiotic, disgusting. I mean, if it were me, I'd say, look, I mean, maybe their editor was on board with it, but I'd be like, if you're not going to give a fair review, or at least attempt to give a fair review, we're going to get somebody else who will. Or if you're going to publish this shit, you're fired. Because this right here, you have basically just sent a flare up to the entire internet that Wired cannot be trusted for anything because it's not even remotely close to being fair. And you're flat out saying this is not going to be a fair review.
And you could have done a fair review, still got your points across, and then I would at least respected you for being honest.
Yeah.
At this point, you're just being dishonest.
So yeah, this is the most recent thing she's written, but before the Hogwarts Legacy review, which is making the rounds, by the way, they're pulling it into...
so it's going to look like it's got more legs than it actually has.
Right. But yeah, here's 8 best vibrators, 7 best Valentine's Day sex toy deals, more sex toys, camera accessories, Nintendo Switch games, espresso, weighted blankets.
You know, she's got some hobbies and is eclectic. Why you should use more lube before you read her review.
Yeah, right.
I honestly got to tell you, I honestly thought it would be like, hey, Star Wars is terrible because,
well,
and then it's that. I wasn't expecting that.
Well, apparently, there are a couple game reviews in here, but this only goes back to about 9 months.
So she's only been writing about 9 months.
Her current account only has 35 followers. She had to lock her own account. So I'm just saying, there's definitely, I think something going on here. But so obviously this is my. Yeah,
that's kind of that's where we're at right now, Jana.
I can't believe that this got through editorial at Wired. Because this person...
Well, but they let her write sex review toys at Wired all the time. So, holy shit, Wired.
this is like a parody. Okay, so this is the first paragraph. This is every freaking trope. Yikes, y'all. I don't even smoke, and I feel like I need a cigarette before I get this thing started. We're here to talk about Hogwarts Legacy, and to do that, we need to discuss the whole mess. Pull up a chair, pour yourself some tea, wrap yourself in a blanket, scream into a pillow or the abyss, because this one's going to take a lot out of both of us, or get heavy.
I recommend you use more lube.
Use more lube.
Take your own advice.
So far, there's really nothing about the game. It's like, here's what Hogwarts Legacy is, and here's how much J.K. Rowling meant to me as a kid. And here we go, more about Hogwarts Legacy, and I can't wait for it. Home isn't home anymore. Basically, it's home isn't home anymore because I loved Harry Potter. I loved J.K. Rowling. I loved the books. They meant a lot to me as a kid, and she disappointed me. Because she disappointed me.
This whole review is almost all about why She just disappointed by Rowling.
Yes, this whole review is basically a therapy session, and Wired paid for it and published it.
I can't help it. There's a hole where this gamer's heart should be. Well, from my way I've looked, you use, a lot of things in your holes. So I would just recommend getting your biggest one you reviewed and, popping it on in there, and you might feel a lot better.
Drink some coffee, lube up your favorite vibe, and
put that in the hole in your heart.
Raise your wand high, I guess. That's what you're going to do. The story, besides being rooted in anti-Semitism, a global cabal is trying to end slavery, but that's bad because the slaves like being slaves, huh?
Oh, they're talking about Dobby.
It doesn't even feel compelling. It feels muddy, a minefield of unanswered questions and unexplained motivations. And speaking of which, characters often flat out state their motivations, as every RPG ever. Like you'll just have some like random old man be like, gosh, I wish I had a chicken. If I had a chicken, I'd give you the key to go to the magic cave.
Like, this is how it works.
Just go get me a chicken. Did I mention I want a chicken? Yes, I would like a chicken. And then you go back to him, like maybe he's, talking about lunch or something, or what he had for lunch because it's been like 2 hours. Where's my chicken, bitch?
Yeah, and then if you look
bring me my chicken.
Game cheats. How do I get past this? You bring the man a chicken.
Bring the man a chicken. Well, where do I get the chicken? Well, you have to kill the Goblin Lord first, and then you get the chicken. Oh, God. Even despite the controversy around Rowling herself, the game feels like it was put together to tap the eager nostalgia of fans without any attention to making it actually worth playing. That is not what all these other outlets are saying. Like, I'm not saying. I haven't played it yet. I'll probably get it for PC. It comes out today, I think, for PC. I'm not saying it's the best game ever made. Okay, but when IGN and Game Rant, and they're pretty biased against Rowling, or giving it 9s out of 10s, and everybody else is giving it like 80s, and we get down to 70s here. Games Radar even gave it 70, and they cut off at 50. You're the only 1 out of 10 review. Mm-hmm. That means the game functionally does not work. Like
one of these things is not like the other.
Yeah, that could be talking about our sex toys too, but yeah, this is not a review. This is
therapy session.
This is a therapy session. This is peak Slacktivist and Wired. I would never publish anything like this on one of our sites. I mean, we've got people that have hot takes on our sites, and some of their takes actually differ from ours. Mm-hmm. But if you're going to review something, you've got to at least be fair, and you might be biased against it. I mean, and you're probably not the right person to review something if you have a bias against it. But even if you do, you still have to be able to find the redeeming qualities. 1 out of 10 is the game does not work when you turn it on. Like, nothing works. That's again, Superman 64 levels of, hell, even Cyberpunk 2077, when it came out, was functionally broken for a lot of people because they didn't have a system that was fast enough to run it. The PS4 version was garbage. Still got better than 1 out of 10.
Right. This is called, you're not being objective at all. You're letting your personal feelings cloud your judgment.
So now we're talking about the movies are bad. Well, you're not reviewing the movies, are you? You're not reviewing the movies, you're reviewing the game. Not just bad morally, but bad qualitatively. I wouldn't disagree with that. I don't think that the Fantastic Beasts movies are fantastic, but we're not reviewing those, are we? We're reviewing the damn game. They're not fun to watch. Hogwarts Legacy, let's see, Rowling, some reviews chalked up to Rowling having more direct control. No, and fewer people tell her no or give her edits. Fantastic Beasts, the George Lucas problem, but Hogwarts Legacy makes me think this isn't the case. Basically, all the magic has been sucked out of this for me. Oh my God. The yawning emptiness at the heart of Hogwarts Legacy. I see the quiet solidarity of queer people and our allies in game development. What?
Wait, there's nothing about this really reviewing the game.
There's nothing about the game at all. It's just basically...
Where's the review of the game?
There is no review of the game. In the yawning emptiness at the heart of Hogwarts Legacy, I can see the quiet solidarity of queer people and our allies in game development. The people who just said no when the job offers came their way.
That doesn't have anything to do with, again, where is the review?
There is no review. There is no review. The ones who didn't answer the emails from Portkey Games, one who politely let their coworkers know that working on a Harry Potter game would be harmful to the trans community, the ones who listened and said, okay, yeah, thanks for letting me know, the ones who put their morals and their loved ones above an easy paycheck, except a lot of these people signed on before Rowling made the comments she made. Like, this game has been in development since 2017. It's been in development a long time. I probably won't know your names, but you know who you are. I see you, and I appreciate you more than words can ever express. So what's going on behind the scenes?
But beyond that, though, where's the game review?
The game is mid at best. That's
what about the harm to women when we're called menstruating people or birthing people when there are women who can't menstruate or have kids? What about the harm to those people?
The magic is gone and won't ever return because without us, the wizarding world is as heartless as its creator. Just want to remind you that lots of people are, playing it. But here's the thing: I thought maybe Jaina was, just kind of a new writer. No, previously Jaina was a researcher for Reuters and a tech reporter for Digital Trends. She resides in Portland.
Oh, shocker!
Portland, surprisingly, with her partner and pet rabbit named Lola Bunny. This is not a review. This is actually an embarrassment to this website that they won't even, if you're going to do this, don't even review the game. Just say, we're not going to review it because it's not going to be a fair review because this is how we feel about it. But to give it a 1 out of 10,
so now you're disingenuous. So it's like at least other places didn't review it, stood by their guns. And as much as I think that's dumb in this situation, I can respect that they stuck by their guns and did what they wanted to do. I shouldn't say guns. I'm probably getting in trouble. But
you're not allowed to say a lot of things in this video or you're going to get in trouble.
It's more disingenuous to do this and disguise it as a review and then put it on Wired of all places.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. And again, I thought we would see a lot more of this, but you want to know what kind of kicked off GG 1.0? It was this kind of stuff where we had people that were hired to do games journalism, gaming news, gaming content would use the platform to espouse their own political beliefs and then call gamers who disagreed with their political beliefs or who were ambivalent to whatever their political hot takes were, awful people. And, if you read between the lines, you are an awful person if you support this game in any way, shape, or form. So there are apparently 1.28 million awful people on Twitch, and probably a lot more than that now that the game is available to everybody. And just wait till it comes out for Switch and other platforms.
But you lost. Just let it go.
You lost. And this is part of the reason why you lost.
We're only bringing this up because you gave it a 1 out of 10 and you didn't even actually review it. You just went on about you literally made your own personal therapy session. You put more effort into reviewing sex toys and drinking coffee.
I know, right? So this is again, a lot of the complaints gamers had about games journalism, it's embodied in that article review. I can't call it a review. It's an article. It's a blog post.
You just proved them right. Way to go.
Proved them right.
Good job.
So we're gonna wrap this up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.